Hi guys, welcome to Sarah Shop Crates. Today we're going to make a snow globe using the new UV DTF decals. This one you can only find at Dark and Divine. It is her exclusive design. So first I'm starting off by trimming off all of the excess so it's easier to work with. Now I did not speed any parts of this tutorial up. I wanted to give you a real-time tutorial, so if I take long pauses in voicing this over, that's why. So these are the 15-ounce handled snow globes from Mother Tumbler. Right now I'm kind of deciding, is this going to fit? What do I have to do to make it fit? So I decided to cut off the two little skelly hand parts and save them for later because I wanted this to be able to wrap right under the handle. So I'm just trimming those off and setting them aside so that it's easier to wrap it under the handle. So now let's take our snow globe and line it up, and it looks like this is going to be perfect. These sizes are so perfect on the 15-ounce snow globes. So now we are just trimming off a little bit more so that it is just a little bit easier to work with. The thing about these decals, you have to get it right the first time, okay? Once you stick it on, you can't unstick it. So take your time and really plan it out before you get started. So now I'm peeling off just a little bit of it and lining it up right next to my handle. I'm getting it as close to my handle as I can without messing it up, and I'm going to stick it and rub it down. Remember, you cannot unstick them, so this part is really important, especially if you want it to be perfectly straight. Now I'm taking my squeegee, and I'm just using that to lay it on the rest of my tumbler. These squeegees work really great. They kind of eliminate creases and bubbles, and I just think it's a lot easier to work with. Now we have to kind of hold this part up, and we have to peel off the other side because we don't want that clear film to overlay on top of each other because then it's going to create a mess. So I'm really rubbing down this area. These UV decals really need to be rubbed down. And now I can start peeling off just a little bit of the clear film so that we can finish laying the other side down. Take your time, go slow. I promise the results will be worth it, and you don't have to seal these. So this is really amazing. So there I am just peeling a little bit of it off, and now I can finish laying it. And they really fit perfectly around that handle. So now you need to work on rubbing the entire cup down, okay? Because we only rub down that little part near the handle. You can use a squeegee, you can use your hands, but you want to put a lot of pressure on it to make sure that none of the pieces are coming up. Now, when you're peeling off the clear film, you also want to take your time. Don't rip it off like a Band-Aid, because if there's any parts that didn't adhere, you're going to want to stick it back down and rub really hard. So this isn't real time. This part might be a little boring because I'm just rubbing and peeling, rubbing and peeling. So here I am just going over it again, making sure that I got all of the parts rubbed down with my squeegee the best that I could. Especially around the handle. You don't want to forget those parts. All right, now we're going to start peeling the rest of it up. This part takes a little bit of time because, like I said, I do go really slow. So there's going to be a long pause here, but I really didn't want to speed this up because sometimes longer tutorials in real time are best. So you can see how slow I am going. They are really sticky, but the fact that you don't have to seal these with epoxy or anything is a game changer because I know a lot of people want to try snow globes with decals, but they don't have epoxy or Crystalac on hand to turn these on a spinner. I also really like these because there's not really any bubbles. Since we're really taking off that entire clear film, the only thing laying on the tumbler is everything that has that black ink, essentially. So they're really nice and easy to work with. This was my first try and I didn't mess up, but I did actually, after this, I put one on a epoxy tumbler and I did mess it up and I had to sand it off because I couldn't just peel it up like vinyl. We are almost done. This turned out so amazing. And if you're wondering, it says Overstimulated World Tour. It's part of Karina at Dark and Divine's World Tour line that you can only get there. And she does own the copyrights and stuff on this design. All right, there we go. Super easy. Now I'm going to take those two pieces that I cut off and saved for later, and I'm going to put those around the handle. It was just easier this way. Because the handle was there, it would have been really hard to not trim them off and try and line it all up. So this part was really easy. And next, we're going to play with glitter. The best part, you definitely want a chunkier glitter for snow globes, and I will link the glitters I use below, but I only use glitters from PDB Creative Studio. So we're going to do that here in a second. All right, I used painter's tape to outline my cup just so if I made a mess, hopefully the glitter would stick to the tape and not make a huge mess. I'm going to be using Dreamer from PDB. It's a newer glitter and it's so beautiful. As you can see, it's chunky. And then I also decided to use Yeti. Yeti is one of my favorite glitters from PDB to put in snow globes because it's white, it's chunky, and it's so beautiful. So I'm just filling it up. I'm not recording this entire process because I don't want to hold you guys up, but I do fill my glitter about a third of the way into my tumbler. And I know this would be easier with a funnel, but I didn't have one on hand, so we're kind of just pouring it in, tapping it on my desk so that I can get all that glitter in the small little hole. This one is Yeti, and then I also did put a little bit of Dreamer in there. All right, so now it's time to fill up our solution. I'm using half vegetable glycerin, half distilled water, and I'm putting in a little bit of this fairy dust mica powder to give it some extra shimmer, and I am shaking that up to mix it. Now we have to fill our snow globe. Now here's my secret. I fill it up about 3/4 of the way, and then I stop, and you're gonna see why. As soon as that solution hits the glitter, I feel like it starts chunking up. So after I fill it up about 3/4 of the way, I plug it with my finger and I shake it up vigorously. Like, it takes me a few minutes to do so, but by doing this, it's going to break up all of that chunky glitter that's kind of stuck at the top. And once you break it up, you can finish filling it up. I do leave a little bit of room. I do like to have room for the glitter to move, so I don't fill it up all the way. All right, now we are going to plug our hole. This is my new trick that I like to do. I like to start pouring it with UV resin, and as soon as the UV resin hits the hole, I turn on my UV light because that like instantly hardens it, and that is the best seal that I was able to get on my snow globes. All right, now we're gonna do our lid. You don't have to do the step if you don't have rhinestones, but I did want to add black rhinestones on the outside of my bamboo lid. So I'm using Liquid Fusion, this syringe, and 5mm jelly black rhinestones from PDB. I like the 5mm size along the rim of my lid. I usually add glitter to the lid too, but I kind of wanted to keep this one simple, so we're just going in with rhinestones, and I like to work in little sections. Sorry, my needle was dried up, so I had to fix that. So we're adding, oh, I'm a hot mess. We're adding a little bit of the glue, and then we're going to start laying our rhinestones with the rhinestone tool that I also got from PDB. All of this is going to be linked below. And I'm just going one at a time. The 5mm really wrap around the cup perfectly, so you shouldn't have any gaps and you shouldn't have any trouble putting that last rhinestone on. And these are the ones from Mother Tumbler. So this whole process on the lid takes about like 3 minutes, and you just want to let that dry whenever you are done for about 48 hours before you wash anything. Long pause. I don't think I recorded the entire rhinestone process. All right, so now we're just adding these little black bumpers I got from Amazon on the bottom of the cup. You know, since they're glass, if somebody sets it down really hard, this just kind of protects it a little bit more. And that's it. You don't have to epoxy it because it was a UV decal, and you are good to go.